Recording. Oh, yeah. Take two, Mrs. Ryan.
Here we go. I like
That's
that
all
guy.
right. We're doing it again with audio this time.
Yes.
Luckily, we didn't get too far.
Good thing.
For you at home, this is our second time through.
Hi,
we
guys.
tried it a few minutes ago, and about 5 minutes in, I realized we weren't getting audio. So, like Ramsey just said, the perils of production. Hello, everybody. Today is, I forget what I've done, what I haven't done. Hello. Today is Monday, October 1st, 2018. My name is Jay Ryan. This is Nicole Ryan. We are the Ryans. And this is It's Tonight's Show.
New month.
Yeah, that's right. October 1st.
October.
I don't even know how that came and went. My birthday month came and went. I don't even remember any of it. Which October is here, which means that it's Halloween, which means that it's Thanksgiving, which means that it's Christmas, which means that it's 2019.
Yeah.
And then we start the whole thing over again. Yay!
End of the year.
Yay!
Fall is no longer.
All right, Mrs. Ryan, let's see. There's a lot of stuff to get to. Luckily, we'll have, we just talked it through.
Yep.
Hopefully I can truncate it a bit. Let's see. Let's talk about the weekend. Okay. This was the big, this is the road home from Rennsport show.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
This was Rennsport weekend. We weren't there. Unfortunately, there was some scheduling snafus with the podcast. We had, the story behind it, we should probably tell everybody.
Yes.
We very much wanted to be at Rennsport this year, although we had a lovely time. We had a lovely time not being there.
Yes.
I enjoyed our time together very much.
Thank
I want to.
you.
Okay. But man, we wish we were there. No,
But
I'm
man,
just
we had other plans.
So what happened was we had applied, thanks to Derek Whitaker, to the Momo Road to Rennsport, the big run. It's a big deal, all the way up. You stop at Button Willow on the way to Laguna
Couple
Seco.
places you pop by. Yeah.
We were going to get a preview of the Rod Emery RSR, just cool stuff.
Hi, Rod.
They had a bunch of things planned, and we got accepted to it, which I couldn't believe.
Pretty
Because
cool.
it's all these old air-cooled cars, and we have water, and it was really, I still to this day kind of think it was a mistake. Like somebody didn't really check too carefully.
And we're awesome. And our car is so cool.
Yeah. So anyway, so we were great and planning on doing that, and we left. We scheduled last Thursday to have no show so that we could do so. While we were at Breakfast Club, I think the week before or whatever, or a couple of days before, somehow we were talking to the professor, and he and his wife were going to be available because we'd been trying to get both of them in here for a while, I should say.
Yeah, Serena came by and was like, the week's clear, like, we're good.
Yeah, and we had been trying to do this couple series for a while to start it with them. And anyway, so we locked on, okay, that Thursday would be the best, and we both said, okay, we wouldn't get to do the thing and go to the thing and everything, but that's okay because this was our priority, et cetera, et cetera. Whatever. One thing led to another, scheduling. Didn't work out. So we're left with a fantastic weekend with nothing to do. We could have driven up, but it was like we didn't have tickets or anything else, and we weren't going to just drive up and find an Airbnb 100 miles out of town to drive over to the racetrack and wave. It didn't make sense.
Not those people anymore.
It didn't make sense. But man, RAMSEY POTTS is here today and told us that we missed a heck of a good time. So
we'll get to hear all about it.
Yeah, we don't have.
And we got our weekend.
We don't have FOMO, and Mrs. Ryan and I like to make lemonade. So what we ended up doing was we had a kick-ass huge breakfast club on Friday.
Yeah,
it wasn't huge actually. There was only like 10 or 12
it felt
cars.
like the same amount of people, but so much warmer.
There was there was something. I feel like maybe you know what it was. It was all us. There were like only a couple other people, so we sort of had the whole place.
Okay,
there was like only a couple bikers and only a couple not breakfast clubbers.
Yeah,
and maybe that's why it felt different because we had Danny's attention the whole time and stuff.
Yeah, it was really.
It felt like the old days when we started it and there was nobody there and it was like just 4 or 5 of us.
Totally.
Anyway, so that was great. And then Saturday, holy cow, Fred Hasburn and the PCA Riverside chapter of the Porsche Club of America had their annual Porsche Timeline event up at Lake Arrowhead Village.
Prettiest
fantastic event. We've done it a couple days in a row. I didn't want to cut you off.
Couple years in a row. it's just super pretty, and I loved going there. Like, I loved getting to go up there. It's one of those things that, like, because I don't always know where we're going and what we're doing, and I'm pretty honest about that, so no one asks me anymore. Thank you. But that one is, we went before, and it's just such a beautiful place that, like, I don't go to typically in my day to day. So to get to go to there, it's like, it's a really fun date excursion with you.
Aw. Well, that's what I was going to say was I feel like life was like, oh, you're not at Rennsport, but let me give you the best weather for driving out in Southern California of all time. We had a spectacular day. We stopped at a bunch of lakes to take pictures on the way to Lake Arrowhead just because everything was so beautiful. The light was so great. And
where was that top of my Ghostbusters shot?
It was because of the red seatbelt, I think. But you were like this. It reminded me of
Listen,
Ghostbusters.
I totally saw it, and I like looked it up, and now it's like all I think about.
But that was a place, I think I posted about it. I called it Top of the Earth, or no, End of the Earth, or Edge of the Earth. I don't even know where that actually was. It just, everybody was pulled over because it was clearly the edge of Earth. I mean, we were above the clouds, and there was like a little mountaintop poking out, way, way out there. It was pretty cool.
It was pretty rad.
Yeah. Well, that's good. All right. So with that, we were really excited to get to do the PCA Riverside Timeline because we didn't get to do a PCA event that we anticipated going to last week, which was the PCA Los Angeles region Concours d'Elegance at the Peterson Auto Museum. Whew. All right.
Lots of words. Right. Good job.
Yes, exactly. So we also had not originally intended to go to that because of scheduling and other events. And then last week, the PCA Los Angeles region and Chester Contoi, I never really know how to say his last name. Awesome Chester, who everybody knows and loves, uploaded this video from last year's Concours. It was sort of like, oh, they put it out right before this year's Concours, whatever. And we were included in it, and it was very, very cool. There's actually a little bit about me talking about how, why'd you get your first Porsche? Oh, David Letterman had Porsche and whatever. So it's kind of a funny tie-in in the Porsche video. But they also did, from the same interview, they ended up creating this little profile series for some of the owners, like an owner profile.
We talked about doing that forever ago, and it's so nice to be included in it. It's
very nice to be included.
The sentiments in the video just make me tear up every time because it just transports me back to like.
It was why we wanted to do it in the first place.
Totally,
we're just one of a million stories like that.
Totally, and there's just such love and thank yous that we hear about all the time. That it's neat to be part of.
Big time. With that, I would like to play that video for you now. Thanks to Chester, who sent it over. This is, I think it's just Jay Ryan because I'm talking about you. You're in it a lot in photos and stuff, but I think it's just called Jay Ryan.
I am arm candy when when I'm quiet. When I'm not, I'm just a mess.
All right, we're gonna go to it now.
Just you.
Roll it, Al. My wife has MS. We had been through a bit dealing with that. And I went through some health issues where we actually weren't sure if I was going to make it. It got kind of serious. And I always wanted a 911. Going back to my first car, we wanted to get back to that. And it was one of those where, well, if you're going to do it, now's the time to do it because you might not get a chance. So we started looking. And my wife said, okay, you can get a Porsche if we get a happy Porsche. So we looked at a silver one, a red one, we looked at a bunch of cars, and then we saw a yellow one with a smile on it. And she was like, well, that's a smiley face, we have to get that one. And ever since then, you've seen it's gone through a lot of transformations, so have we. It's been a personification of our journey, you know what I mean? So it means a lot more to us than just a car. When you go through things like we did, generally you introvert, and you go in and gotta heal and figure yourself out. You know, going out was a big deal at first, and we wanted to celebrate it. And it was like, look at us, we're doing this, so that we had a place to look at all of our pictures and like, look at we can have this catalog. When we joined the PCA, the people made all the difference. The cars are cool. I love all these cars. I think it's really neat. I would drive anywhere to come see these cars. But I came today, and we came today because of the friends that we've met, the people that have supported us when we were going through a hard time.
Hello, Jack. Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jack. We missed you, Jack.
The people here who would just share this passion, it's infectious to be around, and it makes you feel good. And that's why we're here.
Yeah. we've met such a good group of people. And we were talking about it earlier, like everyone's connected through, so like whether it's Tori or Houndstooth Ray and like all
Houndstooth Ray.
It's my favorite. I just adore
Ray Shaffer will
seeing
forever now be
everyone.
known as Houndstooth Ray. There's a thing up in the set he gave you.
Yeah, the Notebook.
Yeah,
he and I are.
I don't know if it's in that.
I bond with the men that we meet in different weird ways. That like, I love them and they love me, and they're all just wackadoos, and we're great. Like that picture, I love that picture of like me and Michael Dolphin and like Jose, like my people.
Good for you.
Yeah,
I love it.
thanks.
I'm so glad you feel that way.
I do.
Oh, you're awesome. All right, Mrs. Ryan, do you want to check in with Danbury Chive
Yes.
and Steve Kaz and the East Coast feed?
Steve, I missed you.
All right, let's check in. Steve Kaz, Danbury Chive, and the East Coast feed. Roll it, Hal.
Mrs. Ryan is the East Coast feed coming to you live from Newtown, Flagpole, Connecticut. We're at Deer Street. It's a random night of gym, but the bottom line is you need to see what had happened tonight. I know what had happened was we had some good gin, and we're standing here randomly on an East Coast feed night, but the bottom line is look at the demon, and what is on the demon? Can we get it in?
What is it?
What it is? It is
Porsche Life.
It is the 111 Porsche Life East Coast feed, aka Danbury Chive. Everyone's in it.
East Coast feed.
We're saying
Mr.
you
and
love.
Mrs. Ryan, we love you.
Megan loves you guys. Brooke, she's
I
new.
know.
Loving everybody. Listen, thank you for the sticker. We appreciate the shout out. You are now on the Demon live. East Coast feed.
Live.
Send it in. Give them the love. Give them the love. Okay. Love you guys.
I mean, seriously, those guys. I don't know where that place is. I've never heard of that place.
No.
But it does seem to be where there used to be something else, and I'm wondering if it maybe is the same place in the same location.
Okay.
Where that is, though, for the folks at home, they are. Boy, this is going to put a damper on things. But they're right down the street from. They're
The
at the
school,
flagpole,
right?
which is at the top of the hill, which right down the street, of course. Yeah, would be where the Newtown, Sandy Hook area of
I
Newtown
thought it was
is.
familiar.
Yeah, and that's where I grew up. So I mean,
Yeah.
people don't really, I don't know, maybe know that about
People
me.
don't know a lot about you. You come from a cool place that has like a storied history to pieces of it sometimes.
Well, that one wasn't good at all.
No, not good, but that restaurant looks nice.
Yes, it sure does. All right,
Can't
Mrs.
wait to see
Ryan.
the flagpole.
We have options now. We can do one more East Coast feed, or we can go straight to what's going on.
I think straight to what's going on
I
today.
think so
Get
too,
Ramsey in
Mrs.
here.
Ryan. What's going
Dun-dun,
on?
dun-dun, dun-dun, starting this fall in New York, K through 12 grades, kindergarten through 12th grade,
Yes,
education is going to include mental health
I think this is great.
and wellness. Did you read about that?
I read something about it over the weekend. I'd love to hear what you have to say.
They are the first state to mandate it in the U.S., that it's part of the curriculum in education, which is so cool. Because out here, like a lot of kids I know, their parents or whatever, do yoga and stuff and meditation. But this is the first one to educate people on like what your emotions are. And like their main thing is breaking down stigmas and giving kids tools to regulate their emotions.
Ooh, that's
So-
super, super important.
It's super
I feel like
important.
most people walking around on the street today don't know how to regulate their emotions, and that's kind of the issue these days. We sort of skipped that in this generation somehow.
Yeah, somehow we missed it. We don't know what anything is.
And I don't mean the kids. I think the kids are much better at it. I mean the parents.
No,
I mean the us's of this generation.
Totally. And I will be the first one to jump on a sword and be like, I think that's what's wrong with me is I didn't know what emotions felt like.
Right.
And so I definitely, like, I'm so grateful that New York, I'm from New York. I grew up there, went to school there. Like, neat that in 2018 they're finally tackling mental health, but great.
Every little bit.
Every
I'll
little
take
bit
it.
helps, man. I think it's cool.
Just awareness. I mean, people being mentally unhealthy doesn't mean that you're crazy or that you're fucked up or that you've got a chemical deficiency. It could just mean that you don't know yourself very well and that you just need to figure it out and do some sorting of a bunch of stuff that's just misorganized.
Totally. And like depression and anxiety are not even
Disorganized?
present like feelings. They're all about projection, whether it's to the past or the future. So it's like, calm down, stay
Yeah.
present. And like, I say it all the time. You've helped me see that, and I'm still struggling with it. But like to know that it's going to be for kids younger to be like,
hit it early.
calm down, man.
Kids know this stuff inherently,
Yeah.
like children, the babies, all that stuff,
Yep.
and then we wring it out of them. You know what I mean? So if we can have these kids keep it and hang on to it, then that generation as adults will probably be magic. I mean, what they're able to accomplish.
I agree with you. I think it's just neural training from the beginning. So they're
Yeah.
going to be set up to know how to use,
Yeah.
access those parts of their brain.
Your kids are going to be very successful.
And it's
All of them.
they're going to be successful. And the good news is you never miss anything.
Or they're
It's
gonna have
never too
abilities.
late. You can always learn how to slow down. It's hard as shit the older you get, but it's worthwhile. And I promise you it's beneficial to your health.
Good for you, Mrs. Ryan.
Yep, I'm the most positive person today. My next article is about epigenetics. Do you know what those are?
I don't think so.
Okay, they're kind of about how environmental factors affect your health and your body and stuff.
Sure. I believe in that.
They are now finding that it affects your IQ, so that it really gets in your system early, and then, like we were just saying, like it trains your neural pathways to look for certain things when you're
What are we
exposed
talking
to
about
stuff.
specifically?
Epigenetics.
No. I understand, but I'm saying like simplifying it, saying, oh, think of the 5 people you're around the most, and then you know what I mean. That kind of is an amalgamation of who you are. So if you're around
Your
5
environment,
much smarter people,
5 shows that you watch, 5 things that you get news from.
same thing though,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
Fundamentally.
So, yeah. So it's all that.
So it's osmosis. Surround yourself with good shit. We are what we eat. We are what we consume.
Yes.
Surround yourself with good stuff. That was the same thing when we did this reorganization, whatever. Like we cut out a lot of stuff that used to be considered very, very normal, like television, like a lot of food, like all sorts of crazy things that we considered and most people consider very, very normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not to us. They're not part of our lives anymore.
No, they're definitely not. And there's so many factors that you can now see the effects of. So whether it's like you ate ding dongs every day or you went to
yeah,
school.
and thank you. I guess to my point of, I would say that a lot of the benefit has been derived because of the separation from those things.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah. So blah. To that point though, soon we hope to have an atlas of the human cells, the human biology.
All right.
Well, they're mapping that shit. Well, I'll let you know. But
No, it sounds neat. I don't know what it means.
they're, you know how when they're when we first moved here with the Thomas Guide.
I'm familiar with maps.
They're making one for the cells in the body though, and to see how things matriculate and affect other cells, like what the lineage is of actions and cellular biology and stuff. There's 37 trillion cells in the body though, so they're trying to get a jump on it.
They're doing it wrong, is my opinion. Like
Okay.
it whatever they study is whatever they see in that, but it's can be changed from here. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so, all right, so study somebody and then study somebody like me and then tell me if those are the same. You know what I'm saying? Because I have a much better control over like even what my cells are doing, like you, and fix stuff and all that.
I think
Make myself, I'm like X-Men. I don't mean that, but I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like having a control over your thoughts is almost like a superpower because you don't get bogged down in the bullshit.
I totally agree. I feel like some of these things though are about people like me who have like gone down the wrong path and have to back up and like redo stuff. So sometimes it helps to have a little direction, but who knows?
That's my point. You guys are going to write wrong roadmaps for other people, and I think that's unfortunate. You know what I'm saying? Like whatever they get out of doing this is not really, in my opinion, probably going to be the end result of what we're really trying to get towards. I hate to say fool's errand because that's not right. I'm sure they can get some good out of this. But I feel like, we're not attacking the problem yet.
I don't disagree with you. I see both sides of it. And so I see that there's going to be so many cool things that come out of this. It's not going to be the LS of what your
I
body
see.
looks
Okay.
like. So
all right. I understand that.
I look at that as like, there's going to be really cool stuff coming up.
There is really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah.
No, there is really cool stuff coming up.
Yeah. Neat.
There is. We don't watch the same stuff. There's some really cool stuff coming up. I think the world will be amazed.
Can't wait. You mentioned something to me the other day, and so I looked into it, and it's nebulous to me. The LAX posted its marijuana rules
We were talking about this at Breakfast Club, I think. Somehow it came up.
I don't remember, but I didn't know the quantities. They're crazy high. That you can carry around
That's
just
what I
as
was
a
saying.
person.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay, so the conversation that we were having at Breakfast Club was LAX just posted the other day on their website, like on the actual LAX website, flylax.com, I think it's called, or whatever, what their policies are for marijuana, because it's legal here, but it's an international. Anyway, their policy is they don't care. Their airport police doesn't care up to a certain amount of X amount, whatever. And it sounded like a heck of a lot to me because it was way more than I know that I've ever bought for you. So whatever, it sounded like, okay, you can have a shit ton of weed on you. That's not a problem. But they're very, very clear about saying you have to get through national TSA, which is a national organization, and it's federally illegal. And then wherever your destination, where you're going, it's your responsibility to figure out, but they're saying that if you get, I don't know, what would you do get in trouble at LAX?
That's the
that
thing.
They found pot on you. They don't care.
It sounded very much like it's all you. Whatever you want to do, you got to read the rules where you're going. Like, we're not going to enforce it. We've got other shit to do.
Everyone should be responsible for themselves is what they're saying.
Yeah.
I feel that that's kind of fair.
That's what I took away from it. And it seemed 28.5 grams of bud is what they allow you to do. The film canisters.
28.5 grams. Isn't an eighth is 3 grams or something like that? What? That's a lot.
Film canisters are 3.5 grams. So that's a lot of those. And you can have 8 grams of concentrate. Like, that's bananas to me. So enjoy. And then my last one that I guess goes along with it, but made me so happy. That movie Role Models is going to be on Netflix. I know it's crazy. I know it's silly. But
what do you know about it?
I worked on it.
You did?
Yeah.
Vincent's in it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. Christopher Mintz-Plasse.
Vincent, one of our guests, Vincent
Martella.
Vincent Martella, also like my little brother in life. He was he's Phineas of Phineas and Ferb, but he was on Everybody Hates Chris, and he's been in tons of movies and stuff. Role Models is one of them.
Didn't know that.
In fact, he was up for the McLovin character, and Paul Rudd liked him and wanted him to do it, but they went with Chris. Is that his name?
Christopher Mintz-Plasse, yeah.
Because he was older, he was the right age, whatever. But they ended up writing a part for Vincent because Paul wanted him to. Paul Rudd likes Vincent. He used to bring his family to the Grove to watch Vincent play piano and stuff. Yeah,
that's cool.
It's pretty cool. Vincent's so talented. Sorry, I could go on and on.
Vincent's great. That movie's fun, and
Stifler and Paul Rudd, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
Sean William Scott.
And Chris Mintz-Plasse, but like the whole, and I think, and David Wayne actually like created it, like directed it, I think.
I'm not sure about that, but Ken Marino wrote it, I think, or maybe David wrote it and Ken directed it. I don't know. Somehow those guys are involved for sure.
They're
Ken Marino
involved, and like I didn't even really know them then, but like the movie itself is about LARPing, but it's about community and Big Brother, like looking out for your people, and like it just made me so happy that more people will get to see it on Netflix.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that's all.
Oh, that's it. All right. Well, gosh, that's been what's going on. Done. All right, let's take a quick break and please get Ramsey Potts in here.
Yes,
we are
please.
so excited to talk to him. We spent like 5 minutes. It was supposed to be before it turned into an hour. Blah blah blah. Let's get him in here.
Cool.
All right, we'll be right back. More to come after this. Ramsey Potts will be here. I am blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
And that's it. Deal with it. Love y'all. See you in a minute.
Everyone deserves music, sweet music. Everyone deserves music, sweet music. 7 in the morning, step on the floor, walking through the kitchen and you open the door. Ain't much left in the bottle of juice because the seeds that you planted never reproduce. Computer's still running but your mind is crashed because the plans that you made never came to pass. Now you recognizing the times is hard when you're trying to take a bite at your ATM card. Everyone deserves music, sweet music. Everyone deserves music, sweet music. G's on rock and stabilized at the age of 15 on the drink and drive. No one ever could seem to empathize. thighs, making babies in the backseat on tranquilizers. Papa never was much a Rolling Stone. See, he just liked to sit and drink alone. Mama always tried to do the best she could. She would work all day and come home to cook. But we all vain, we all strange, we all stained, we all love to just complain. But nobody wants to seem to get along. See, we got shame, we got pain, we got blame, we all a little bit insane. So that's why I sing this song, you know, because everyone deserves music, sweet music. Everyone deserves music, sweet music. Even our worst enemies, Lord, they deserve music, music. And even the quiet ones in our family, they deserve music. Come on, y'all. So I pray for them, and I pray for them. So I pray for them, and I pray for them. We all vain, we all strange, we all stained, we all love to just complain. But nobody wants to seem to get along, you see. We got shame, we got pain, we got blame, we all a little bit insane. So that's why I sing this song, you know, because everyone deserves music, sweet music. Everyone deserves music, sweet music. Even our worst enemies, Lord, they deserve music, music. And even the quiet ones in our family, they deserve music. Everyone deserves music, sweet music. Even our worst enemies, Lord, they deserve music, music. And even the quiet ones in our family, they deserve music. So if you're feeling down and out, got no place to go now, just sing out to the music, y'all. Let me feel your soul now, because everyone deserves music, sweet music. Even the quiet ones, the lonely ones, the happy ones ain't the only ones, y'all. Everyone deserves music.
And we're back.
Thank you.
We are back with RAMSEY Pottts. How are you, sir?
I am super fantastic. I really am. This is such an honor to be here with you two.
Oh.
The two of you, it's obvious you've made enormous sacrifices and you've tapped your clearly deep well of professionalism and you've put together this program. It's a dream, right? And you're doing it. And I'm very honored to be here. Thank you very much, both of you.
I want you to be our
Thanks.
publicist.
Okay.
That was incredible.
Yeah, that's
You've
great.
encapsulated all of our feelings and emotions perfectly.
It's
That's the goal.
obvious. It's obvious, both from the production and watching the show, and for all of your listeners, it's real. You have really done an amazing job.
It's real?
Oh, the set, it's real.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's crazy, isn't it? I
Yeah,
mean,
it
this is the part where it does get a little fantasy landy for me because it's weird. You know what I mean? Like this is really there's a Seinfeld episode on the Merv Griffin
Merv
set
Griffin
and the whole
episode.
bit.
Yeah, about the sets.
Yeah, well, just doing the thing. You know, it's in the guy's living room and
And
the
this is
friends are coming over.
Desk and
It
and
does-
I do, and I said this to you already, but I want your listeners to know that as a bit of a TV neophyte, probably one of the great ponderings of my life has been what's in the mug. Am I the only one? Am I the only one?
That's always wondered.
Yeah, what's really in the mug?
Does everyone think that there's only ever one thing? Because this is the first time, actually, I don't have two. Normally I have a coffee and a water, but I had that coffee, and just like you said, you don't want to keep ramping up. I couldn't even say your name at the end, so I just came back with just the water.
Real California H2O. It's delicious. And speaking of names, may I compliment you right out of the gate for something that you did, and we didn't talk about this earlier. So I was watching your show in my flight outbound from Atlanta to San Francisco, catching the last few episodes from last week. And we get to the end, and I noticed where you have a trend of you say, and coming up on Monday's show or next week.
Try to, yeah.
Okay. And you said RAMSEY POTTS, and then I wait. It's almost like I'm waiting for him, like, let's see how he pronounces it. And you nailed it.
What?
RM Sothebys. It is, I swear, that's the most mispronounced. The company.
You're kidding.
Oh, we get Sothebys and Sothebys.
Oh, wow.
And R and M, and you did. My compliments. I don't know where
huge.
you learned that.
Well, I remember Ron Meyer, obviously. I mean, so I know the RM.
Yeah, you did. I meant to tell you that earlier.
Oh, wow.
Thank you very much for getting both my name and the fabulous brand RM Sotheby's.
Well, unfortunately, a few moments ago, I couldn't get anything out of my mouth.
That's
So I'm
okay.
glad that we did it last week.
Good
We're
job.
good to go now. We're good to go.
Ramsey, I don't have, we don't do questions on this show. It's not that type of thing, but I have this blue card with things that we talked about earlier or just things that I have known or picked up on you.
Okay.
Your style is probably the first thing people would say about you next to your personality. People who know your personality, but people seeing you at a car event go, holy cow, where's his mint julep?
Yeah.
And what are his picks? Because he knows what he's doing.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. I enjoy it. It has, not on purpose, but it has become a talking point.
Obviously a good one, a positive one.
Well, I'm going to take it.
I'm trying to, everything from my side, I hope you know, was coming from a very complimentary place.
Thank you.
No matter how it came out.
One of the highlights of this Rennsport weekend was one particular individual who is one. I don't know if you know Scott Atherton, the name, who heads up the IMSA.
Okay.
The president of IMSA, and
Sure.
I really enjoy sports car racing. So, I was with Brad Phillips from Haggerty, one of the coolest guys in the biz. And I see Scott Atherton walking this way, and I'm like, Brad, it's Scott. Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm just
And
aiming at you.
I've spoken with Scott. He was at our Amelia Island auction in the Ritz-Carlton, and he came over, and we're chatting, small talk, talking about Project Gold, and then he says to me, and he gets very serious, and he puts his hands on his hips, and he says, I just have one question for you. And I'm like, oh, no, what did we do? Where did we get this wrong? How many hats do you have was the question. So at first I was a bit concerned, but yeah.
Well, you're not only dolled up. I mean, this is the first time we've ever met, but I've
Yes.
seen many, many pictures and video. And it's not just that you're always dolled up to the T's. Everything always matches. So that means there is a significant wardrobe to this. It's not just like, oh, he's got one hat and 3 jackets and 2 pairs of pants. I mean...
Everybody's got a thing, right?
Yeah, I'm thinking that the
thoughtful.
wardrobe at home may be a little bit larger than maybe the garage even.
There's a few shoes, maybe. I'll admit to that.
And there's nothing wrong with any of that. I love it.
I'm comfortable with that. If
Yes.
you're comfortable with that.
Sure.
So I got some new socks this weekend.
I just
at
noticed them.
Rennsport.
I love y'all that pay attention.
Actually, I got about 8 pairs.
Look
of
like
socks.
Gulf livery socks
In
there.
fact, they are well done. I love socks. I love color. Of course, in all fairness, guys, look, if you do blues and grays, you're pretty safe. So
Well, it's almost like and I noticed this immediately, but I'm saying it now finally on the show. I see the M Roundel colors or the M
you
Motorsport
do.
colors
Those
on
are-
your
That is,
Hecke.
again, Ray Shaffer introduced me to a fellow, Adam McQuiston, Finn Ryan design. Amazing young man.
So am I right? Is that actually a motorsport type Hecke, or it's not just a knot?
Yeah, normally I have some with cars on them, and this is it's technically called Racing Stripes. And while I was at Porsche this weekend, it was the Martini Racing Stripes.
Oh gosh, of course. I didn't mean to. Yes,
definitely
of
not
course.
the M stripes.
No,
at the,
probably not.
Rennsport. But
Well, you know what
yeah,
though?
and I've got
Perhaps it's even the
350s.
order that they're in there.
Yes, they are. I've got cufflinks. This
Nice.
and as a tribute to you and Rennsport, these are 356. cufflinks, and I like cufflinks a lot. So
Nice.
Thank you. It's a very kind of you.
Well, but
to
the
make the
personality.
observation.
The personality probably came first. You told me the wardrobe came from somebody that means something a lot to me personally in my life.
Isn't that fascinating?
And this actually is somebody who is one of the reasons we even do this show. And it's not David Letterman, but a fellow Pittsburghian. Is that a right word?
You two really do get people to open up. Bully for you both.
I'm not trying to do that.
No,
This is what's interesting to me.
It's what are we going to talk about on a show about Porsches, right? So
Welcome to the neighborhood.
yeah, I have people who have been an influence. We all do, and I probably have more than most, who have made me and molded me and affected me. And yes, it is true. Fellow Pittsburgher Fred Rogers, in the neighborhood, Mr. Rogers' neighborhood, right? I mean, when you think about him, one of the first things you think about is the man had style.
Absolutely.
It consistently.
Forever.
Right.
All we ever saw of him was the same.
And cardigans are cool, and sport coats are cool, and plaid was hip, and
House shoes are cool.
yeah, I
You know what I'm
like
saying?
wear house shoes and ties and cravats. So yeah, no, my sisters and my mother have also been, in all fairness to them, a big influence in appreciation of clothing. I wish I could dress like them, but there is no question about it that when I think about Fred Rogers, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, all the cool things about that show, he really, I mean, the guy, it was okay.
So you grew up there, so that was probably in the DNA, but he was special. It was special to you guys as well, your whole family.
Yeah. I think maybe you guys are nor'easters. I don't know.
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Am I right? But it just seems like dressing up was a bit more of a thing where we're from than where I live now in Savannah, Georgia.
This is probably more a question for you, but I would say that for sure I have gotten rid of all of my nice clothes since I've moved out here. You used to dress up back east.
Well, yeah. Okay, good. So
Out here, you dress down to go out versus like in New York City, you would go to the nines.
to the show, to the theater.
How about when you go to an
dinner?
airplane, you used to dress up, and that was decent.
Oh, yeah. That
Yeah, but it's almost, there's certain places out here that where it's awkward to be dressed up. Like I remember, like one time I was wearing a T-shirt to work, and whoever, I forget who it was, but it was like, you used to dress up. Like, what's this about? And I was like, I'm with a comedian all day. Like, I don't need to be wearing a suit. Like, no offense. So it's super different, but you have a thing. Like it's your
That's
persona.
very kind of
You're
you.
like,
Thank you. Well, look. Okay, and I'll share with you, because I do get asked the question, especially when I live in Savannah, Georgia, and when I'm in the South, and it is 7,000 degrees and 700% humidity. Why do you dress up when you go to see the clients, or when I go to see someone and I get out of the car and I put my coat on? Take your coat off, for heaven's sakes, man.
no way.
Look, let's use the two of you as an example. Let's take a look at what is happening right here. The two of you have dedicated your lives, your avocation, your vocation, and you've put together this amazing studio. You've invited me into your really cool home, and I mean, you deserve to have a guest that presents well. When I go to see one of my clients and I'm about to walk into their garage, cave, collection, whatever it is, and it's essentially the second largest investment, tangible investment that they've made, and some of those investments are more significant than others.
Sure.
They
Especially with
deserve
what
to
you
have
see.
somebody, and they're going to trust me to help them curate their collection. You're going to trust me to be interesting. You deserve to have somebody present themselves well.
What it says to me is you show up.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yeah.
You're showing up. You know what I mean? You're bringing it. You're showing up.
But you guys, I mean, this is amazing what you've done here. You deserve it.
Thank
Thank
you.
You really do.
That
You
is very
deserve
kind
to
of
have
you.
your
Very
guests present well. So.
That is very cool.
This is
All right. Well, I want you to know that none of the things, your personality, your wardrobe, nothing stands out. Everything is just this awesome cohesive element.
Oh,
And I
wow.
want you to know that.
That's incredible.
I'm talking about things, in a weird order here, but I don't want you to think that that's how they stand out in my mind and that's the order in which they're occurring.
You're very kind. Thank you. That's very, very kind of you.
Another thing that stands out with me that has nothing to do with cars, and we'll get to cars, is and this I'm picking up on my own, but it was whatever. I was told to look out for it as well. You have an incredible energy about you, And we both are very susceptible to people's energy. We both feel it. We're both empathetic. And we both have different ways of dealing with it. Some people are able to not take it on, and some people take it on. Yours is incredibly positive. You seem to just have an air of positivity about you that you are cultivating on your own, that you then allow to emanate to those that are then getting close enough to your nucleus. Is this intentional, or is this the DNA that is RAMSEY Potts?
You guys, this is incredibly, thank you very much. It's very kind of you. Forgive me if I answer the question.
There's no wrong answer. You can tell me you don't want to answer the question.
I'll sum it up this way, because anything I say, oh, well, I am not, will come across as pompous. So my wife, I will say one thing about myself. When you meet my wife, you will concur. I am the greatest salesman of all time. Now, it took me 10 years to close the deal, but I truly am the greatest salesman of all time. In maybe only one deal, but with Joelle.
The one that mattered.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah. So, and she is actually, believe it or not, right, opposites attract, the absolute antithesis of me. An only child. Right. See, and that works.
Yeah.
She, years ago.
You're an only child, or she is?
No, she's an only child. She said one day, coming back from a business function where there were hundreds of people, my wife looked at me from the passenger seat and she said, "I'm going to get a button made." And I said, "Do tell, a button?" And she said, "Yes. And it's going to say on this big button, ... except for when he's sleeping." And in all fairness, I'm like, "Honey, I don't get it.
Well, it goes with another button somehow.
Right, and somehow all of you get it right away. And
it's a portion of something.
Well, and she says to me, if I have to answer one more time the question, is he always like that?
Except when he's asleep.
Right, so I will let my amazing wife address, I guess, sort of answer that question for
All right, well, let's bring her in here.
Yeah, no, I wish all the way on the other side
Next time.
of the country. Yeah, look,
Have you always been a positive person with plenty of energy?
Yeah. My nickname, we all have
You don't
nicknames.
have to get out of bed.
No, when I was a kid, my nickname was the GB, or Gigglebox. Gigglebox was, among many nicknames, that was the one that was probably most predominant. It's funny because I'll go back, and when I go home, which isn't that often anymore, and I'll run into our old babysitters, and they will use expressions such as handful and challenge and everything, but they always make the comment, "Man, you were a happy
handful, happy handful."
Yeah, so that's very kind of you. Thank you. Yeah, why not?
Found the way to use it
when
for
I'm
the
here.
good.
Yeah.
I mean, you've certainly honed it into whatever makes your life
I was going to say it clearly works for you today.
I hope so.
We're also a quirky bunch. You know what I mean? So
Type A
anybody,
personality?
just us car people, us Porsche people, us car people, us auction people, we're all a quirky bunch.
Greatest fraternity in the world.
Yes.
What's up, bro?
Yeah. maybe the greatest club. I should use some other term. But it is petrol heads, and I use the term petrol heads.
I like it too.
Because my mother, we had the three sisters, our father wired us to be car people growing up.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah. No, he was a big petrol head car guy, British cars.
Did you grow up in Georgia?
No, grew up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I knew that.
I talk about Savannah, Georgia, been there 10 years. And my sisters were car guys, too. So my mother, very prim and proper, to this day, the kind of woman that still will take me by my ear and twist me around if I'm not walking on the outside of the sidewalk with her.
See?
So
why is that?
Yeah, that's because
chivalry, correct? Because
well,
the man is supposed to be on the outside. That's what I was always taught.
Heaven help me.
I get into a thing with her too every time she walks on the outside. I'm like, "What are you doing? Get over there."
Jay teaches me rules that I don't understand. I didn't grow up in a
I grew up in an area where people didn't balance books on their head, but there was a lot of class.
No time like the present to be honored as a lady. How about that?
When I remember it, it is all I want. I just forget. My head goes into work with dudes. You know how to do that.
Bully for you. You deserve it. So, and Mom always said, your sisters are like cars too. So we will use the term petrol heads in our house rather than car guys.
Oh,
That's nice.
that's
So that's
the
why all my life I
delineation.
have always said petrol heads.
Do y'all like the same kinds of cars?
Yes, we were raised on British cars. So, which meant we had lots of cars and very few of them ever actually
There's
worked
various states
at
of
any one
disrepair.
given time, right? So Jags and MGs and Healys and Triumphs.
Oh, all the
and-
coolest stuff.
Oh, I
too.
mean, listen, my first bicycle was a Raleigh back when they came from England, and all my brother ever wanted was a Suzuki, but he got a Triumph, and everything was very, very British in our home growing up.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
so-
the car thing started that early then.
Yeah.
I was hardwired from day one.
Well,
Absolutely.
You also grew up, maybe not that early, but you spent some time at an early age with one of our favorite people, also a Porsche fellow, Ray Shaffer.
Man. I
And-
mean, just one of the coolest.
Did you guys grow up
cats.
together?
So
or
we met when I would have been. So I went to the University of Pittsburgh, and we met through cars. I don't know that I've ever really told the whole story. And Ray said that's not. Ray may say that's not how it happened, but I like my version.
Well, Ray's
of it
coming
anyways.
back, so he can always.
Perfect.
He'll
I
add
moved to
addendums.
I was on my own in Pittsburgh, and I joined at that time the this would have been 1986, and we didn't have all these ways of connecting like we do today, these incredible ways of connecting.
Write your letter or see you at the track.
Right, so I reach out to the local chapter of the SCCA, which would have been region, I guess I should say, which would have been a new region for me at the time, moving into the city. And I said, are there other young people like me? And oh, by the way, I want to write. I would like to write some stories about what you do. Why do young, broke petrol heads like to write stories about car events? Because it gets them into the event for free.
Press pass.
Exactly. More about that later. I have some interesting stories about
What
that.
an interesting. I never thought about that.
Yeah,
there's
no,
so many
that's-
kids who reach out to like anybody, John Benton or whatever. Hey, can I do blah blah blah? And it does. It gets them the access.
It was about access for me
Yeah.
at the
Wow.
time. So, and they said, oh, sure, what you should do is reach out to, and here's a perfect example of how committed from day one Ray Shaffer is, and there are few people as committed to the passion for cars as Ray Shaffer. He was the editor. Mind you, Ray Shaffer's probably at this point in time 18, 19, and he is the editor of the local SCCA regional newsletter, Steel Cities Region.
Sports Car Club of America. It's
Right.
it's a big deal.
It's bananas.
Yeah, it's not a
Everything
small
you
group.
say about
This is
Ray,
who-
I'm like, he was 18.
the stuff we
What?
used to race in, they were all SCCA events up at Lime Rock and
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean,
way
that
back.
was the
cool.
group. That was the
Yeah.
fraternity.
And
at the
he
time.
edited that's
Local, back when, you
Ray.
did it on a Commodore 64 and
sure.
you printed it out, and the color aspect of your color newsletter was the particular color of paper that month that you would have printed it
Ooh,
on.
pink.
Yeah, orange, red, whatever the season may have been.
Goldenrod.
And I reached out to this kid, Ray Shaffer, and he said, oh, yeah, really cool. Sounds neat. You're in Pittsburgh. I'm in Pittsburgh. Come on over to my house. We can talk cars. And, I did. And I remember the day I met him. I remember everything. I really do. He's been that much of an influence in my life and a really great friend. And I remember meeting him. And the rest, as they say, has been fabulous history. And it's
Wow.
always been around cars.
Well, all right. Let's bounce around a little bit then, because it seems like he's connected also to where you are today. Didn't he play a role somehow? All right, let me back this up. Could you tell us what your road was to end up at RM Sotheby's?
Okay.
Because this is a place that a lot of people probably would aspire to get to, and, and
I think probably some of the people at RM Sotheby's are like, yes, how did we get around?
And your
finding
journey
Sotheby's?
might have been a little less.
Very much non-traditional.
Okay.
Very much non-traditional. So again, I tell you, you are, I don't know if you define who your guests are, but I would like the subtitle to be the luckiest car cat in the world to have the friends and the opportunities that I have in life. Grew up
the Zelig type of thing. I don't know if you knew that.
yeah.
Woody Allen Zelig.
Yeah. I
Just at the right place at the right time. Forrest Gump is more timely these days.
I mean, all of those amazing things wrapped up into one. So immediately out of school, I went to work in the racing business. And I was
Dream job.
Well, okay, now let's be real clear. Let's use the term business fairly loosely in this particular situation. But it comes all back around again. I responded to a classified advertisement in the back of the SCCA magazine for this team in Allentown, Pennsylvania that was hiring somebody.
Lehigh Valley.
Yeah, very good. And I said, okay, and I sent a resume. I was a college graduate, and I got hired. And it was very interesting. It was a bit of a loosely, I guess it was a job. They gave me money to do it in cash in an envelope. And I worked for a race team. We were importing the team. There were 3 of us. We were importing.
I think I get where you're going.
Right, parts for Formula cars, and we sold them. And it was, and in all fairness, the gentleman that I worked for, the young man who was about my age at the time, did eventually go and really become quite something in sports car racing in IMSA.
Legitimately.
Yeah,
Okay, good,
very
good.
legitimate. Matt Connolly Racing Enterprises. And there were 3 of us, and I slept in the... I'll use the term halfway. I think it was a nasty place where I was living at the time, because it was, cash, and it was this apartment thing
That
and
came
then,
with the deal? Or,
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, sure.
and I was
I'm picturing
so-
The Jerk.
No.
Just the back,
Well, yeah, okay.
The back, you remember the at the gas station?
Man, yeah, okay.
Jackie Mason?
Well, ironically enough, so I worked in this race team, and I lived in this hovel in Easton, no disrespect to Easton, Pennsylvania, and the home of Crayola crayons. And I was, and it was
burnt Sienna
it was
Brown.
a shared bathroom by everyone in this hall, in this hovel, and it was so uncomfortable for me and unpleasant that I would literally go to the race shop, and there I would, take a
Lather
French
up.
bath
Yeah,
in the
sure.
shop bathroom with the shop hose, and for a couple weeks slept up in the parts department, which was a shelf above the shop.
Sure.
In my
Or blanket and a
sleeping
pillow.
bag. And I look back and I think, oh, maybe I should have stuck it out, but I guess I had bigger visions for myself, which every college graduate does, and went on to other sales careers, and was eventually the sales manager at a Ford dealership, and wanted to go into business for myself. Actually, the reality is I wanted to do something. I came to this realization that I wasn't going to be able to make enough money to do what I wanted to do, which was race cars, working in the racing business. And there's the whole avocation, vocation. My father, who gave me many sage sayings, would say to me, I bet Jack Nicklaus, I don't know if you knew, great golfer, before Tiger Woods, said, I bet Jack Nicklaus doesn't take his golf clubs on vacation. And when you're 18, that doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. But at this stage of my life, I'm like, wait a minute, if I really want to go racing. So I started my own business, and I went into the insurance business, and that evolved into the financial services. And I was very fortunate and very successful along the way, 25 years in that business. And along the way, I was able to go racing. And that's how Ray and I eventually went racing. And I always kept my fingers in the business, skipping 25 years of just boom. And then 25 years later, and this is the impact that you two kids have to always keep in the back of your head when you do this show, when you dedicate your lives to this format, this communication. There were podcasts, there were people who, and Ray was a big part of it, and my amazing wife was the other one, and I began to share with them, I have 25 years in this business, I'm successful, and I wasn't unhappy doing what I was doing. I loved the people, my dear friend Trip Amos, doing what I was doing. But I just had come to that point in my life where I wanted something different. And guys like Ray and people like you, people are listening, and they may not say it to you, but have faith. You are changing people's lives because they hear what you're doing, and they listen to your guests, and they're like, I can do it. I can look what you've done. Look how you've abandoned you. Some people may say, oh, well, I've thrown it to the wind. No. You probably, with a great deal of calculation and cunning, have said, we're going to do what we want to do. And by golly, I think we're going to make a living at this. And I bet you do. I absolutely bet up the bank that you do eventually. So all that to say, Ray was very encouraging, and he said, go for it. So I spent about a year and a half and looking for what could I do. And for people that are saying, well, I'm looking for a career in the business, I bet I sent out I don't know. Is there a pie to eternity and resumes and reached out and contacts, and I had not been somebody's employee in 25 years.
Right,
mind
that's
you.
a different.
It
different
really
animal.
was. So these were, but through the encouragement of my wife and Joelle, and right place, right time, I was always hanging out at auctions. I had some clients, some successful clients who had come to me and said, hey, I know you know stuff about cars. Let's go buy cars at auctions. And I would help them curate their collection a little bit.
Oh, okay.
And so but that was fun, right?
But you were getting known for that?
No, not
Okay.
well, known amongst at least 7 people. So a very
That's more than someone else who doesn't do that,
so,
you know?
One friend who started with 1 car and has now gone through 25 cars.
Sure.
And has about 10 or 12 in his collection right now. And he would tell 2 friends, and they would tell 2 friends, and they all had, let's say, an average of 2.7 cars. So not like I do today. But I was at auctions. Ray Shaffer, once again. So I go to an auction, and I walk up, and there's a gentleman by the name of Bill Wyndham, a very big influence in my life, who I worked for me 20 years ago at the Ford dealership where I was the general manager, and who I kept in contact with because who did he work for on and off for the years? Ray Shaffer at
Oh
Brimo's.
my gosh.
Right. And I'm Bill, and he's Ramsey, and we struck up a conversation. What are you doing? And I'm like, well, I'm at this stage of my life, and whatever, let's talk about cars. And I kept in touch with him amongst many other people. We met at the 24 Hours of Daytona one morning. He said, come meet me at Daytona. We might be hiring. I had a resume. We went to a place for breakfast. We sat for 2 hours, never literally took the resume out of the envelope. And he said, okay, let's do this. And I sold my business. That went very well. I was very blessed. And my wife, who when I came home and said, honey, listen, I think this may happen. I'm going to sell my business. I'm going to upend everything about our lives. And I'm going to chase my dreams at this time at 48 years of age. And unlike what I think any reasonable spouse would say, she looked at me and sort of almost just nonchalantly said, yeah, you've basically spent your whole life preparing for this. So go about your business and do it.
It sounds familiar.
Yes. And here I am.
That's what everyone says about this. You've spent your whole life preparing to do that. I say I don't know what I'm doing, but they say you've been preparing your whole life for this.
I would concur. I'll take
it.
Yeah.
It's true. And I would say the same for you. I would say the fit, definitely.
And
you're wearing the suit.
It gets better. It only gets better. The people I get to work with. And I will tell you, of all the things I do, yes, I get to do really neat stuff. I get to see really cool cars. But the people are the biggest payoff.
Did you happen to see the little PCA thing that we did just aired a little while?
I did, yes.
It was the same thing. These cars are amazing. We'll drive anywhere to come see these cars.
Yeah,
but the reason we went there that day and the reason we go in general is for the people and the relationships. It's
fantastic.
amazing. To be able to cultivate them and then actually maintain them is very, very cool.
I like to benefit from them, and
well, you know what I'm saying.
I do. The joy that it brings. I mean, the cars are cool, but when you walk down the roads at Rennsport and you hear, "Hey, Ramsey," and you turn around, it's like, I'm so happy.
I
just
love
wanna
being
see
asked to
these
take
people.
pictures with people.
Yeah.
I never wanted to be famous. I don't want to be famous still, but there's something about that connection part. No, the connection that you're making with individuals in that moment that is delightful to me. Please take pictures with us. I like that.
Yeah. Now, the car people are the coolest people in the world. And it's an honor to be a part of that club, fraternity, that circle of really cool people.
All right. We should probably get into some business stuff.
We should.
And
but before we do that, can I present you with
did bring a
something?
bag here.
I did. I so appreciate the fact that you made the comment earlier, you don't have FOMO, because it doesn't matter where you are or who you're with. You can have an incredible time with cars. So I'm not very good at this gift acquiring thing. So, no, listen, I don't. And so it's a trinket, right? But
wow, I wanted one.
well,
That's
you know, all the kids have these nowadays, and I don't know exactly what for.
This is from Rennsport.
It says Rennsport 6 on a Rennsport Reunion 6, so that is for
That's
you.
adorable.
And I walked into the store, and I'm staring at one of the attendants, clerks. I don't know what the right term is, and I've never met you, but I've seen you on social media, and I'm thinking, that's about the size. And this attendant sees me staring at her. Oh, boy. Just with my mouth agape. Sir, can I help you? what size are you? And she immediately, she's like, oh, you're buying for someone. I'm like, yeah. And so she helped me pick
You're
out the shirt. I hope it's the right
Oh,
size.
look at
May
you.
I
So
open
sweet.
this?
Please.
So it's a Rennsport Reunion
Awesome.
shirt. And it says Rennsport Reunion 6 on the back. It's very subtle. Oh, look, it's blue. Imagine that.
I love
so
it.
A shirt for you. I hope it's the right
It
size.
looks like it's the right size. I
Good.
think you did great.
She
Oh,
said
it's
extra
so
small.
Yeah.
And my friend,
It's gonna
soon to
be
be your
perfect.
friend, Adam McQuiston of Finn Ryan Design, designs
He
and
did?
manufactures those for Porsche.
Oh.
Yeah, no, amazing.
Oh, wow.
Amazing. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Plus,
And it looks
ladies'
perfect.
tees don't come often enough in this business. Not too many people have
Right,
the ladies'
unisex
lines.
is what
The ones who do
Yeah.
support our show, and they send stuff to us, and Mrs.
Cool.
Ryan wears it
Please
all over
enjoy.
the place.
Please
Thank
enjoy.
you,
Thank
I
you.
will.
So,
Very nice of you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
This is really, really cool because
So-
honestly, not going, these are all the little things that you do
Yeah.
miss out on, and these are little things that are neat. The
in 3
mementos.
years, you'll go to the next one. So
Yeah.
We are, we've got plans on that already.
Good.
We're not missing it again.
good. Where is it? Will it be at Laguna Seca again?
I assume so.
Yeah.
Wasn't the last one?
Yes. Be nice to go back East Coast, but that's okay.
Ooh, Lime Rock. I'd go to Lime Rock in a heartbeat, or VIR would be nice.
I mean, Rodham, there's so many.
I guess it needs to be a big track, doesn't it, for the size that it's gotten
with
now?
lots of hotels and lots of restaurants.
You
You
were
guys can totally cut me off, and so please do. But like, what is Rennsport? Is there a quick summation of it?
I think so. It's a celebration of Porsche's history in motorsports.
Okay.
So the emphasis there in particular, unlike Parade, unlike a PCA event or Works Reunion, the emphasis there is all about the motorsports aspect of it. Originally
Okay.
started, its roots are the amazing Brian Redman and Bob Carlson, the former public relations for Porsche North America, and Brian and Bob started it at Lime Rock.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How cool for me.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my home track.
Absolutely. Yeah.
For you, whenever you see a Porsche with RS, that generally stands
That's
for
what that is.
Rennsport.
Okay.
And there you go. This would be the Rennsport Reunion.
I mean, they bloody well raced tractors.
They
at
did.
this thing.
They really did.
Oh, and I have to
The
admit,
P111, right?
May have been the
There was juniors and there
highlight
was
of
supers.
the weekend was the track.
They raced tractors this past weekend.
From turn 1 to turn 4 or 5. I'm not 100%. Le Mans style start. And
running start.
with tractors.
oh yes, with tractors.
So, and I saw
lots of tractors.
They took the motorcycle lane around whatever the hairpin down to the bottom
Okay,
there.
is that
Turn
what it
2,
was?
is that what it is?
I saw the start. I saw turn 2 the first day, and then the start on the second day.
So
I actually
cool.
had a colleague in the race, and I think he did fairly well. I think there must have been 20-some.
Well, Zwart was
tractors.
doing it, and
Yeah.
Patrick Long was doing it,
Yeah.
right?
John
They raced
Oates, for Hall
tractors?
and Oates,
John Oates
and,
was there. Ray
Okay.
Shaffer wants to get John Oates on here. He said we should do that.
I
If you
just
wanna
saw a
have-
Porsche
picture of him
petrol
with
head.
someone at it must have been at Rennsport. I would love to talk to him.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We'll do that.
real Porsche petrolhead.
Yeah,
He
I
will
didn't
be
know.
He will be at the Porsche 70th anniversary auction as well.
So there's two business things that I
Segue.
want to get to.
Segue.
Well, I want to get to Project Gold,
Cool.
and I want to get because that's really the reason you're here right now.
It is the catalyst for sure.
And then, of course, as well as the big auction in Atlanta as well.
Yeah, something really special.
So I'll let you take it. Whatever you want to tell us, let's just educate everybody.
I do wish
What's coming up?
Our pal Ray Shaffer was here, so I'll do my absolute best to pull the Porsche line and tell you a little bit about Project Gold. We'll start there, and then we'll go to the bigger schematic.
I think most people have seen it, right? It's the 993 that just.
Porsche does a good job of promoting it and marketing it, and we do as well at RM Sothebys.
Well put.
But what is it for? Quick summation. Because I don't necessarily know what it's about.
Right, and a lot of people, they're professionals in the business that are writing about it. Oh, it's this restoration and it's that. No, they recognize, as we talked about, that the propulsion systems and the car culture is evolving. So hey, let's not forget about the classics. Let's not
Right.
forget about supporting the classics for Porsche as a business. And so they said, let's show the world what we can do, a showcase, if you may, of all the capabilities of Porsche Classic, the parts, the service, the skill sets. They had a 993 body shell as a part number on the shelf. And they said, let's
Right. They didn't cannibalize a 993 that was already out there. This is just parts on a shelf at Porsche.
There really is nothing about this car that represents a restoration.
But a lot of people are making that point a lot, and it's almost like I feel like they specifically want people to know. Is there a reason that Porsche wants people to know that, like, hey, this is something off the shelf?
Yeah, well, it's because they want
a new
the world
number, right?
to
It's a new
know.
VIN.
It is a new VIN. It is a new body shell, and it's all new parts. And they want the world to know, hey, it's okay to come to us, the mothership, for your classic parts, your classic service, your classic work, because in fact we do have everything you need to officially and properly and completely maintain, service, and support your, in this case, 993 era Porsche 911.
Now, in some cases, we were talking before the show, in some cases, some of those parts have actually they're better than the original NOS parts because they've been re-engineered or improved upon from back in the day. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely.
So you're actually getting a modern counterpart, not even just a direct bolt-on counterpart, but a modern counterpart to the part that you would be buying sometimes.
Yes, and a lot of my colleagues, worse enough, my pals may be a bit of a juxtaposition with me on this, but I frankly, they say, oh, well, they don't build them like they used to. And I have to tell you, under my breath, I said, well, thank heavens, I mean, there's a reason.
Human error?
Well, just if all you do, and you made the comment about tires, how it's evolved. When you go onto the actual cars and things that have evolved, the headlights. I mean, I remember having cars, I have a 58 Mercedes-Benz. I can barely see 50 yards in front of me.
No way.
Right. So,
no way.
The headlights are better. Are the shocks, the suspension that you can buy from Porsche for the car, there are improvements.
You mentioned the tires. That was the conversation before the show. We were saying that a lot of these old cars are so good today and competitive today because of the modern rubber. So apply that same philosophy on down to the parts.
I don't want old paint on my car. I want new paint because it looks better. The luster, it lasts longer.
Yeah.
I want safer windshields. I am an incredibly big fan of anti-lock brakes and air conditioning. So yeah, I mean, I and all of these are things that are evolving for Porsche, for any manufacturer.
Right.
Look, Porsche's not the only. Look at Mercedes. I'm very fortunate where I live in Savannah, Georgia. You may have heard Jaguar Land Rover is opening their first U.S. classic facility. And
they're building a new flagship center, right?
Oh, like 80 bays or some incredible number.
That's nuts.
Yes, I think maybe it's 80 people, but not 80
something.
bays.
Still, it's a big presence. That's
They're
great.
dedicating a lot of money and a lot of effort to the support. Now think about this. This is from the factory.
Mm-hmm.
And they're saying we need to dedicate the resources of all types to supporting our fans and our followers.
Keep our cars on the road.
Yeah.
The best part of that Porsche thing is whenever you see the 911s, I can't remember what the percentage is, but something like 80 or 90%, something really high number of the cars are still on the road.
Right. So they are showing the world we still make great parts, and in some cases we make some of those parts even better and more reliable than we did how many years ago, and you can buy them from us. And you can be confident in their quality and put them on your classic Porsche.
Sounds like a very
So it's
Porsche philosophy.
It seems like a way to, we all see the cars, you look at a 992 or whatever, the spy shots that are out now, you see where the cars are going in the future of technology and propulsion, like you were saying earlier. I think it's nice to see that the company is not only doing this, but then showcasing it for everyone else to see, hey, we are not forgetting our roots. We are we're doubling down over here. We're gonna spend some money and some time looking over in this area over here. So maybe you should too.
Yeah.
To me, that's kind of a neat new area. Because if you want a new old Porsche right now, you spend a heck of a lot of money and you go over to a different manufacturer, a different company, a neighbor here, and you go get on a list. To be able to do that same thing with the same kind of build quality from Porsche, I don't know, it's interesting. It's a nice option.
I remember talking about
it
a little bit with Ray when he was here, and it's like, it's really, there's something so nice about it from like a corporation standpoint, like, make your money, but like really taking care of the people in your system. Like,
it's appeasing people like us too, by the way, the people who really maybe not as interested in the new stuff unless we're getting an SUV or whatever. But when it comes to the 911s, we would only want maybe a certain year or older.
I mean, think about it from a business perspective, and it's a big business. let's not forget Porsche is one of the most profitable automobile manufacturers in the world.
Of all time.
Right, and they're part of a family. I don't know, Volkswagen, maybe you've heard of them, and all of the different marks. They don't have to do this. It's not like, oh, if we don't make classic parts, we'll never survive, right?
They don't have to do much of anything but keep making the Macan. That's about all they have to keep doing.
Yeah, and more of them, as a matter of fact.
Right.
So I think it's incredible that, look, as a petrol head, whatever your opinion is of what they're doing or how they're going about doing it, please take solace in knowing that a manufacturer like Porsche that doesn't have to says we will dedicate the staff and the resources. I mean, if you had seen their facility at the Rennsport this weekend.
Ray sent us pictures of everything. I mean, it was spectacular.
I'm going to go with the word, they're serious, right? I mean, they're really into this. They've dedicated in everything to we've all seen their oil cans, their lubricants. Those things are just, if I could just get a couple empty ones, right, and just keep them on the shelf.
Yeah, you want it.
Right.
Props.
So it is fantastic that they're making the effort. And then Project Gold is just, I guess I'll say it's.
Now, you guys are selling that car, right?
We, as a matter of fact, are. We are very fortunate. The timing was incredible. Porsche builds a car. And if you stop and think about it, when they build this car with the intent to sell it, and the funds, the profits are going to the Ferdinand Porsche charities, to whom do they sell that car? Because whichever collector they ultimately would have said, and you get it, that would have been another.
Oh, no.
Yeah, 99,000. Rather unhappy with
there
the
aren't
decisions.
there aren't going to be 77 is not enough 935s for the VIPs that are in the Porsche
exactly.
family.
So RM Sotheby's and Porsche came together. Ray Shaffer, right?
There you go. The tie that binds.
And we come together at the amazing Porsche Experience Center in Atlanta, which is like Epcot for adults, Porsche petrolhead adults, and the conversations began. And we at RM Sotheby's, we have done mark-specific sales before in the past, specifically with Ferrari, 3 of them. And in last year during Ferrari's 70th
Three different events?
3 different events
Wow.
over the years. And in 2017, this is 2018, right? 2017, we had the most significant auction in Maranello at the factory, at the track.
Wow.
For Ferrari's 70th anniversary.
Cool.
And it was amazing, and needless to say, and very successful for
Yeah.
those who were selling their cars.
But what I'm seeing here is you have a very proven track history doing this sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, amazing place, RM Sotheby's, amazing. And so
Well, I mean, of course, the company within itself has many accomplishments, but I mean specifically, this
You
is
have a
the
great track
exact
record.
same thing. This
Yes.
is the exact same premise.
So this was the catalyst, and this was the premise under which the conversation within RM Sotheby's was, hey, you guys should come and talk to Porsche. And Ray's conversation within Porsche was, hey, you guys should probably maybe sit down and have a coffee, a bagel over this whole thing with RM Sotheby's.
Share some
And-
ideas, yeah.
Right, multiple meetings, and boom, it happened through a lot of work of some amazing people at RM Sotheby's and at Porsche. Ray and I just made the introductions, and we are going to celebrate Porsche's 70th anniversary. We say RM Sotheby's in collaboration with Porsche Cars North America at the PEC in Atlanta, their North American headquarters. You have one out here, which is sort of the motorsport.
One Porsche Drive, right?
One Porsche Drive, and we will be
It's the head of Porsche Cars North America.
That is
that what you were
their
saying?
North
The
American
head.
headquarters.
Yep.
And it's like 3 times the size of PEC LA, but it also has the capacity, there's some other aspects of the brands that are in there, Bentley's in there with some stuff and VW and different things. So the auction will be there. And if ever we have conducted an auction that is a destination auction, this is the place.
I'm assuming you're going to be somewhere among the collection and everything else there.
Right in the heart of it, weather permitting, in the courtyard.
This is amazing.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, to say that we are having an auction in the mothership, I mean, it would be in Germany.
I'm just picturing the photography that you're going to create a heck of an environment in that space, I'm imagining.
It's yes is the answer.
Also,
to the
with you and
question.
Ray Shaffer involved, I have no doubts.
Yeah, I'm equal parts unbelievably apprehensive and nervous.
Correct.
And
That is correct.
Equally excited and can't wait for it to all unfold. October 27th, there'll be the preview will begin Friday the 26th. Oh, I think I may have something.
Now the catalogs just went to print. Is
They
that
did,
right?
and I am shamelessly.
Oh, here we
Yes.
go.
Oh, this is a
big deal.
pre-mailer.
Preview,
A
okay.
preview.
All right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Ooh,
Gorgeous.
why, look at that. 956C. Rarely ever up for auction.
Wow,
Oh, we
nice
have one.
meatball.
The only 956C to win on both European soil and North American soil.
That's the location.
Yeah,
for you right there. How's that?
And I have people
Wow.
say to me, "Well, I don't know that I can afford any of those cars." Doesn't matter. It is a
This is a sight to see.
history-making event at Porsche's. I mean, it's the home of the Avengers, right? You know, when you see the movie, that's their Avengers headquarters.
Ray
right.
told us that.
Yes.
You know, we don't. Yeah. Well, do you like those movies? This is a whole separate conversation.
I've never actually.
Yeah, me neither.
I saw the first one.
I think maybe. Sam.
I probably should see some of the
Well, I feel
others.
like we both should for the same reason.
Yeah.
But yes,
So-
apparently one Porsche Drive is actually
Yeah.
the Avengers
That is the
headquarters.
address.
That's
from,
crazy.
from the movie.
I didn't know
it was
that.
a filming location.
Yeah.
I told Ray I thought it was genius that they were supplementing their income, but because they rented out for all these events.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
assuming Sotheby's is going to pay a nice amount to
Well,
use their facilities.
There will be wonderful payoffs for all parties involved.
Mutually
So-
beneficial
Yeah,
all
that's
around.
right. It
Mutually
really is.
beneficial.
They've been
always.
great to work with, I can tell you that. Porsche has. And I hope they feel the same way with RM Sotheby's. But it is going to truly be. Look, I might be a little biased, but it doesn't have the history that a Rennsport does or a Petit Le Mans. But there may be a reason that we're Rennsport 2 weeks later, Petit Le Mans 2 weeks later, the Porsche 70th Anniversary Auction on their 70th anniversary year. I think it's going to be one for the history books. And if you are a Porsche petrol head and there's, Atlanta Airport can get you from anywhere in the world to it there in one hop. Come to the event. Yeah.
You could hop the fence. Is what you need to hop.
It is
it's literally the
actually-
same place, the same property line.
I will, to anyone who wishes to attend, I will warn you in advance. You must register in advance because this event is the PEC and this auction and all of this is actually on FAA
Yeah.
property.
Meaning Homeland Security actually has whatever you call that jurisdiction.
There's a
To get your
little tighter,
clearance.
and when you come to the auction, I can't believe how tight security is. Well, come on any Friday
the same.
to have
Listen.
lunch at the Restaurant 356 is one of the best restaurants in all of Atlanta, which is the restaurant in the PEC. And it probably has everything to do with the fact that the pats of butter come out in the shape of a 911.
Yeah, love that.
And
I've seen photos
the
of that.
seats are 356 seats, and the silverware. I mean, and on and on and on.
Is
and
that
on.
true? The seats in the restaurant?
Oh yes.
No kidding. I
didn't
Everything
know that.
about
That's
that.
cool.
The leather, the flatware, the knives and spoons, the design is all the I don't know what you call it, but the metal work done on the frame, on the decorative rails and Porsche 356s and everything about the place.
I love it.
Everything about the place
Neat.
oozes Porsche, and the food is absolutely amazing. That was a big tangent, but ultimately, my point being, you really must register in advance to get on the property. You can't get onto that property unless you have a purpose, such as a reservation at the restaurant or an
You have to
appointment.
check in just
Yes.
like you're going to NASA or something. I
The
mean, it's kind of neat.
museum, the simulator labs, the racetrack, and then there's 2 Porsche Drive, the hotel.
Is that done open now?
Oh, it is fabulous.
Okay.
Already
It's supposed to be
booked.
really something.
I mean, people, the lights, your lamp on your nightstand is a Porsche exhaust pipe.
Really?
Really?
In all the rooms?
All the rooms. The headboards in all the rooms are the wheels embossed onto the.
Neat.
I get very excited.
No expense.
Yeah.
That's all I can think of.
It's
Jurassic
really
Park.
an amazing place.
All right, our mutual friend Tori Alonso,
Yes.
VW for Life. He sent in a question. He would like to know what is in RAMSEY Pottts' garage.
Ooh.
It's a damn good question.
That's
Good
not
one,
fair.
Tori.
Really?
Well, no, it is okay, but
Nobody cares. You have access to every car in the world, basically.
well, I have access to look at them.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
And to meet the really neat owners. So I drive a Volvo every day. And I drive a lot, as we were talking about earlier. I drive about 50 to 60,000 miles a year. It's a 2012 Volvo C70 that my wife and I did European delivery, which is really cool. And it's a 2012, mind you. and it currently has 323,000 faultless miles on the car.
I bet.
Yeah.
And it's strong.
It is actually very strong. And it's not interesting, it's not cool, it's not anything other than A to B, and it works great.
That's the answer that makes me happy.
Yeah. And my wife has a Porsche Cayenne, and then I just recently, and you'll never guess, I got it at an auction, at an RM
Say it
auction.
isn't so. I don't believe it.
You talk about an alcoholic working at the bar. Kids, it is bad.
Totally.
It is bad. And I had a client who actually consigned this car. He was a many-time Mille Miglia
That's even worse because you've got the inside track.
I knew about the car. I really did. In all fairness, I did. I knew, what's that saying, where the skeletons in the closet kind of
buried,
thing.
yeah.
And there weren't any. But it's a 1958. You cannot, I don't think an automobile exists that is more pedestrian than a 1958 Mercedes 190 sedan, not a 190 SL, a sedan in blue, of course. And he had purchased the vehicle, and he's quite an extensive collector, 8-time Mille Miglia participant, and he bought this Mercedes and spent more to kit the car for rallies and road rallies than what the car costs. There's a fine line between hobby and sickness, right? And most of us are on the sickness side. And he spent more than the car was worth to kit it and prep. So I knew, oh my word, this is incredible. And the car came across the auction block in Auburn, Auburn Fall, RM Auctions, amazing auction. And first bid, second bid, and then I raised my hand and just like tripled the bid. And I'm like, I'm going to get the car.
Well, you know how to do it. Yeah.
I do.
So you just bought the pot.
I took my own
Scare 'em all away.
advice. And I had some people that I knew were going to...
Big, strong.
Yeah. I had some people, I knew that there was some interest in the car that would get it to X amount. It's not a lot, I'll tell you. I knew there were people that were going to go to $10,000. I mean, I spent nothing on this car, really, in the big scheme of things. And it was at 3, then it was at 5, and I knew there were people that were going to get to double digits. So I just simply said, 11! And it worked.
That's
You
it.
swept it.
It worked. Everyone was just like, oh. And that's the way you get. And I would have done a little bit more. People say, well, you could have got it for 7. Yeah, I
11
could have
for the
got it.
win.
I could have got it for 15 as well. So
11
I'm
for the win.
thrilled. And I love it. That's what's in my garage now.
11 is a magic number.
It is. 11.
I
Yes.
love it.
Yeah. How ironic.
RAMSEY Potts, I hope that this has been a painless experience for you. I'm curious if you have anything for us. We should probably wrap it up pretty soon here.
Good.
But
Okay.
if you have anything for us, I don't want you to feel unfulfilled.
No, I want all of your listeners to know that if there's ever anything they would like to know about the auction business, because the biggest question that I get in my travels, you would think it's, hey, what's my car worth? And yes, I get asked that. The biggest question I get asked generally comes in the form of misconceptions and misunderstandings.
Are you on that show? You're not on that show, are you? What's
Which
my car
one?
worth?
No,
Oh, okay.
I have not been on that.
People
My
just constantly
colleagues-
ask your professional opinion.
My colleagues have been on that show quite a bit. Is the misconception of how an auction works.
Ooh.
And it's, oh, well, I give you my car and then what? And there's lots of myths and rumors, and 99%
You don't really
of
give
them,
anything to anybody.
well, but but okay. Hence my point. There's a lot of misconceptions. Sure, when I'll actually go to a lot of clubs and organizations, and I have a little presentation that I do with PowerPoint, and it's just called Buy, Sell, and Enjoy. My point being, I dedicate as much time to the potential neophyte in the world of auctions, explaining to them this is how it really works, and at the end of it. At the end of every one of my presentations, if I'm the Jaguar Club, Porsche Club, Benz Club, Ferrari Club, wherever, they come up to me and they're like, oh, that's how it works. And
People
really,
can't understand the mechanism. They can't figure out.
and in all fairness, I get that. I mean, there were things that since I've come to work in the business that I thought I understood, and I went to a lot of them and helped people consign cars to them, help people buy cars at them. And boy, I learned in the first 48 hours, I learned a lot about the business. So it really is a wonderful, wonderful thing to be a part of. And I don't care if you're buying at an auction, you can be selling at an auction, or frankly,
Just watching.
Really it's high drama, kids.
Yeah, if you don't have a dog in the fight, it's actually kind of interesting, more interesting almost, because you can watch the tennis match and find, oh, this guy won, oh, that guy, oh, and you watch the whole
Gather
it's a
your
sociological
buddies,
experiment.
Come together, put bets down. I mean, Right, and I think, we used to do that. Oh,
Yeah.
We would pick 10 cars. We'd all put a little money in the pot. Whoever
got
was the
closest.
closest. Yeah. I'm sorry, but it's, and I don't mind saying, it's probably the best car show you'll ever get to be a part of. Because if you come there as a participant, we'll show you the cars and you can dig into the cars, and it's
You can sit in you get to play with the cars.
yeah.
You get to try everything out.
the
Oh,
world
cool.
of
Because you theoretically could be a buyer. You know what I mean? So
That's right.
do all these switches work? Does everything work on this car?
So
That's
I would
pretty rad.
encourage your listeners, your friends, anybody who says, I've always wanted to be a part of that. I've always wanted to go to Amelia, to Monterey, to Hershey, but I really don't know.
Or they feel like they might not fit in.
Right. Well, you have just opened up the world of world-class auctions to all of your listeners, because I want them to reach out to me. Go to the rmsotheby's.com website.
There we go. How
to
do we find you?
team,
There we go.
Go to team members and then scroll down, and my bio is there. And in that picture, I do not have a hat, so fear not. It is
Okay.
me. And my email is there. My mobile number is there. And I want to encourage them to reach out to me. And please come and be a part of our events. They're incredible.
You're on the social as well, right?
I am.
Can they find you?
Instagram,
Instagram.
RAMSEY POTTS.
Easy.
One word.
Easy.
Made it easy.
Yeah.
Good job.
Again, Ray Shaffer. Thank you, Ray, for teaching me the power of social media.
Ray.
Please follow me on Instagram,
gem.
because I promise you this, it is not about me or my really cool cats. It is about the cars that permeate every aspect of my vocation and avocation.
You're a delight, Ramsey.
Oh,
I hope
listen,
that you. I hope that you
seriously.
know that. You seem like you do, and I mean that in a good way.
Oh, wow. You
do you know
guys-
that you are a delight for people?
Not for everybody.
No. I hope that you know that you do. I would imagine that for the most part, you leave the world better.
Well, I work with some amazing people, and I want to leave with this one more thing. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I get asked this question quite a bit too. What's going to happen to the world of car collecting? And I feel very
future
strongly
casting.
about this. If I have a soapbox, kids, it's this soapbox. We all need to stop worrying about the collector car hobby and cars. If you could meet, and when you come to one of our events, you will, the people that I get to work with, Thatcher Keast and Pete and Alex and just all these amazing people in Jacob. There are young men and women who have dedicated, they are basically sleeping in the parts department and bathing with the shop hose.
Big time.
And they have committed their lives to the preservation and the endurance of this hobby that we know of classic cars, of great cars. Do not worry. I'm telling you. And well, they don't come to the car shows and they don't come to the concours.
I agree. People don't need to worry about anything.
They don't. When, I remind these people, I don't see anybody at the hangar party here at the Hilton Head Concours. When you were 20 and had $7 together, you weren't buying $200 tickets to come hang out with a bunch of old farts at a hangar party at the Hilton Head Island Concours as well.
Good
We're
reminder.
going to be okay. And when you meet the colleagues that I work with and how much they know, and I mean, I really just, Pete and I hope they're listening, Pete and Thatcher, and you look at all these kids, 30-year-old kids that I work with, the hobby is set for just an amazing
I
100
totally
more
agree.
years. Good.
The kids have the boy. I don't even want to step on that. That was so great. But I'm so with you.
Yeah.
I'm so with you.
Good. They don't do it like I did it. They don't do it like the guys that are 70 did it. But I promise you, they're doing it.
The kids have
Yeah.
all of the knowledge now, and way more than we ever did because of the things, the screens, so the internet, shared knowledge. They've got more knowledge. They just don't have the money yet. And once everything else equalizes,
Yes.
you don't have to worry about it.
Neither did us. Neither did, when we started.
No, I understand it
yeah.
totally. But we were paging through magazines and everything. Whatever information that we amassed and we collected and everything, it was so much. It is nothing compared to what these kids know today.
And they have it in a nanosecond. It took y'all years, no offense, but like that, they have it, and they're gonna share it soon.
If there's any time I'm not pleasant with people, it's when they say, "Oh, it's gonna die," and I'm like, right up in your grill. And you bought a new exhaust system, and the only way your friends knew about it is if you told 7 of them. These kids today buy a new exhaust system, hit Facebook or hit send, and 7,000 people know about it
In an instant.
And the curation and the conversation generation just explode. I cannot wait to see where the next generation of
But
car collectors are going to take
The
off.
fact that negativity alienates you at your core to the fact that you come back and you battle and say, no, there's nothing to be worried. This is awesome. This is the energy and the positivity that I was talking about on the blue card here.
Don't be grumpy. The hobby is going to
That's the
be
only thing that's going to make
okay.
Ramsey grumpy. Is other people grumpy. And you don't want to see Ramsey grumpy.
No, don't be
Take the
grumpy.
hat off if you
You're a delight. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank you to Ray Shaffer, too, for helping
Yeah.
put it
Right.
together
Yeah.
and for being the tie that binds all around.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Hope that you enjoyed it.
Oh, can I do it again?
Yes,
someday?
whenever
I
you're in
hope
town, please
so.
come back.
Thank
Please, please, please. In fact, I would be sort of offended if you didn't because I've had a really good time. And I know
Understood.
Mrs. Ryan has
Thank
too.
you. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All right, Mrs. Ryan, tomorrow, what do we got? Where's the card? Tomorrow. Oh, I don't even know. Wednesday. I don't know what we got. We got other stuff this week.
Got
That
people
was
all
easy.
week.
All right, Mrs. Ryan, I love you so much.
Love
Ramsey Potts, we love you.
Love
Thank you
you.
very much
Love
for
you
being
guys.
here. I can't wait to see you again and maybe at one of your events.
I hope so.
I'm hoping October, maybe we can get to Atlanta. That'd be nice.
Mm-hmm.
Just
That'd be
saying.
great.
Just we know people. Just saying. Hop the
Heads up.
fence.
It's a big city. There's room for you.
All right, take care. We'll see everybody tomorrow. Thank
Bye,
you.
guys.
Wow, you guys are like total pros. Wow.
That's nice of you to say that. I don't know that that's
Total
true.
pros.
I don't know if it's true, but I'll take it.
It's never having. You do actually make me forget.